Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Mind Your Health podcast. My name is Dr. Connie. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why your health may be doomed without you even realizing it. And so for as long as I can remember living with autoimmunity, when the flares happen, it just sort of seeps up on you, right? And it's not until you're well into the flare you realize you could have been doing a lot better with your health endeavors and the habits that you've been cultivating, right? And so I really want you guys to consider underneath everything that you do day in and day out, that most of what you do every day is on autopilot, which means subconsciously, 90% of what you do day in and day out is dictated by your habit brain. And this is the part of the mind that we refer to in our alkaline method as the subconscious mind. It's the first element of our alkaline method that we utilize in transforming our patients' lives and their mindsets through autoimmune health transformation. Really, subconscious meaning is that you're not really consciously aware that you're doing that. The flip side to the conscious mind is what subconscious mind is, or unconscious, which is really the conscious mind is the second element of the alkaline method. What's important for you to recognize is that 90%, you guys, that's a lot. 90% of all that you think, you feel and do is based on past conditioning directed from your subconscious mind. It's almost like you guys are all busy walking around this life with the box over your head. But the trouble is, with the box over your head, all you see is the four sides of the box. And the instruction by which your body works is on the outside of the box. So conscious lifting of the subconscious mind so that you can see the direction by which your body and your mind works is the key to unlocking your health endeavors. We really have to bring awareness to your habitual tendencies, separate your identity from the habit, because a habit is a habit. It's not who you are. But too often we attach meaning and identity with the habit that we are attached to, so much so that we have a difficult time separating the two. But I want you to recognize that your subconscious programming is really it's almost like a software to the hardware. Your mind and your body is what we came to the world with. What it was conditioned or programmed is based on our circumstances or our conditioning from our environment, from our caretakers like our parents, our teachers, our religious backgrounds, a lot of which we form beliefs around and formed our egos around of our identity is a learned identity. And oftentimes it really makes sense for us to recognize a lot of the times who we think we are really is not in alignment with the true core values that we hold for ourselves. It's a learned identity, which means sometimes we have to recognize that those learned identities and habitual tendencies do not serve us. And yet, our brain, because it's so subconsciously programmed, we have a difficult time even wanting to lift the box over our head to finally read the direction and recognize, oh my goodness, I have full control over my life, right? And this is why our habits and some of the behaviors that we want to change are so hard to make, because we can't see the greater picture. I have a puppy, you guys. I'm so sorry. So anyway, so it's hard for us to see what we are subconsciously programmed with. So you need to really elevate your consciousness and allow yourself to tap into your conscious mind, utilizing the three pillars of the conscious mind, which is the second element of the alkaline method, to direct using your prefrontal cortex and some of the patterning and habit breaking strategies to really detach from the habit and recognize it for what it is. But for the purpose of our talk today, really want you guys to understand that Your habitual tendencies is really maybe what's making you doomed in your health endeavors without even knowing it. And that's why the subconsciousness part of your brain needs to be reawakened and paid attention to, so we can know and be aware of what's there, so that we can redirect it towards the direction that we want it to go. This is why many autoimmune patients keep using a broken strategy that focuses on the doing. We go search for a new book, new diet, and new supplements, new medications, new doc, holistic interventions, and whatnot, when in fact, they should focus on the being. We need to work on the identity and then the subconsciousness of what's driving everything that we do, which is really housed in the subconscious mind. That's the foundation. That's the root of everything that we do. The identity that you hold in your subconscious mind is exactly what you're playing out in your life without you even knowing that. So if you don't like where you're at in your health endeavors, I highly recommend you take a better look at your subconscious mind and your habitual tendencies and redirect your attention towards the direction that you want your life to go. And that's all it takes, right? The identity that you hold in your subconscious mind is exactly what you are playing out. And if you find your results less than ideal, then you may be perpetually sabotaging yourself day in and day out. And this is an important concept for you to really recognize, because if you don't know that this is what's happening underneath the surface, you'll never grasp what you need to do to shift your attention towards where you want to go. Because the way you direct your attention, mind-body connection, mind-body mastery is where it's at. And the work is in you revealing to yourself what's underneath the surface, really understanding your 3 brain levels, starting from the reptilian brain, that's the automated brain, the primitive brain, to the mammalian brain, full of feelings that drive behavior, to the prefrontal. Because as smart as you guys are, it's often hard to change our behavior and change and make the necessary habitual changes, because much of what we do is subconscious. And that's really what I want you to recognize and really reveal to yourself. So for the work today, for the purpose of this podcast, I want you to write down some of the bad habits that you want to make changes to in your life. And then write them down so that you can make better choices if it's not serving you, and just recognize what they are and see if it's something that you can catch you doing without you even recognizing it. Because if you're not aware of the things that you do under the surface, how will you ever make the necessary changes in the direction that you want, right? And so the first step is recognizing these habitual patterns. And it's a meta concept, meaning humans are only mammals really that can think about us thinking, right? And thinking mind is a subjective, and it's a very abstract thing. It's not a tangible thing we can measure. So you have to be vigilant at your tendencies. And because it's subconscious nature, you need to really look at some of the habitual things that you do day in and day out. And it takes a little bit of vigilance and resilience and really vigilance for you to really recognize what those habitual tendencies are, for you to really catch them in you, really acting on them, and then recognize that those habits are making your results right now. And so if you don't like where you are in your health, in your wealth, and your relationship, and your life in general, it's important for you to recognize what habits you must shift and change once and for all. And there is a strategy behind it. And stop using a broken strategy around it and doing a little different, a little better, a little more year after year, when really you have to change the way you are being in your life to be healthier. Okay? It's not about the doing. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please subscribe to our podcast, Mind Your Health. And I will see you guys all next week. I would love to know what your takeaway was for this episode. Please share comments below. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys all soon.